Hi guys, which are the 10 best stocks to invest in the Nairobi Securities Exchange? I'm asking that question because I have been reading a news article where I have seen the analysis for the first half of the year 2026, and Kenyans are really embracing investments. And I'm saying so because 3.6 million Kenyans have invested in assortment of investments, totaling value of about 851 billion in different investment schemes out there. That tells you Kenyans are really embracing investment, which is an amazing thing when you have 3.6 million investors. Have you invested? If you have, in which stocks? Or even so, have you invested in alternative assets out there beyond stocks? Comment down below in the comment section. I want to hear from you. If you have invested, and if you have invested in which securities? Comment down below. Let's continue discussing there. You are all much welcome to my channel. My name is Afagza Sifunam. In case you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel because I'm bringing you amazing money insights and economic trend analysis each and every day. Thanks for subscribing and also dropping a like on this video. Having said that, of course, investing in stocks, which of course are part of the broader securities in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, is an individual prerogative. By the way, most people out there think you need insane amount of money for you to invest. You don't need insane amount of money for you to invest. You just need the willingness. Start with a little amount of money you can, and you're going to harness that investment behavior over time, which is going to assist you capitalize or make more money through the power of compounding and that investment behavior. And with that, here are the 10 stocks you could consider to invest in for you to probably make money in the midterm, in the long term through the Nairobi Securities Exchange. At number 10, we have the KenGen stock. You see, KenGen might not be the most exciting of stocks, but then again, it is one of the most strategic companies in Kenya. And any savvy investor out there typically look to invest in strategic companies or strategic assets in any given country. Reason being, those assets are not going anywhere anytime soon. And secondly, they are essential assets to that particular economy. So the government and also big institutional investors are going to ensure those strategic assets continue thriving. That's why I placed KenGen at number 10. It is core at the center of Kenya's businesses, at the center of Kenya's energy, because Kenya relies on geothermal and hydro. And of course, we're talking about KenGen being the Kenya generation company when it comes to energy in the country. So investing in a stock of KenGen is going to ensure you're going to realize good value over time. And then at number 9, we have the BAT stock. It is interesting how the BAT shares we've been having pundits out there predict that the stock is going to decrease in price. But interestingly, year in, year out, BAT stock has been increasing in price, basically shocking even analysts out there. And of course, this is not happening by accident. It is happening because we're talking about BAT being a mature company, BAT having proven income, and also BAT consistently paying out dividends. Who doesn't want to invest in such kind of stock, which is proven to be having returns year in, year out, and also having a track record of paying dividends year in, year out? That is why I placed BAT stock at number 9 on this particular list. And then at number 8, we have Cooperative Bank stock. Guys, the shares of Cooperative Bank have been performing well in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And this so because Cooperative Bank is one of the main banks in Kenya. In fact, when you look at the asset base, Cooperative Bank is at number 3 in the country with asset base of upwards of 800 billion Kenya shilling. Of course, we know the likes of, for example, Equity Bank, KCB Group have asset base at almost 2 trillion Kenya shilling. But we are talking about Cooperative Bank holding its place very strong. And of course, Cooperative Bank is pro SMEs lending, okay? It is supporting the engine of Kenya economy. We are talking about it having consistent returns or earnings or revenue each and every year. And of course, also dividend payout. This has proven to be one of Kenya's mature companies and a reliable one. That is why I have it on this list as number 8 because of its maturity, profitability, and also supporting or having business anchored on a key segment of Kenya economy, the SMEs, thus standing at number 8 on possible stocks you could invest in. And then at number 7, we have Absa Bank stock. Guys, Absa Bank is one of the banks with longevity in Kenya and also on the continent. Of course, we all know there was a transition from the previous Barclays Bank to Absa Bank, but we are talking about also Absa Bank really galvanizing its space in Kenya and in the region. It has a history of profitability. It has a history of continuous business. And that's why I've placed it at number 7 on this list, because it has that proven concept of profitability and also consistently paying out dividends year in, year out. And of course, we are talking about its regional presence, also ensuring it is thriving in the region. And if a company or a group is thriving in the region, then it indicates that its profitability is bound to continue being there and even so increasing. So I'm placing Absa Bank stock at number 7. And by the way, just a simple fact, in case you didn't know, Absa Bank in full mean Amalgamated Banks of South Africa. It was a name coined sometime in early 1990s, and as the bank continued expanding beyond South Africa, the name stuck. That's why you see the name Absa Bank when you are visiting the previous branches of Barclays Bank in Kenya, and even so, Absa is opening new branches too. So it stands at number 7. And then at number 6, we have KCB Group. Guys, investing in KCB Group is probably a wise thing to do. And I'm saying so because KCB is one of the biggest banks in the region. We are talking about it having market capitalization, which is very high, and an asset base of about 2 trillion Kenya shilling, which is very, very big. In fact, the asset base of KCB Bank can only compete with the likes of Equity Bank in the region, which also has a market presence and also asset base of about 2 trillion Kenya shilling. This regional presence, very big asset base, high revenues, and it being at the frontier of digital evolution and catering for customer needs tells you KCB Group is going to continue being in business. That is why it's probably wise to think about and consider investing in KCB Group stock at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, because we are talking about an entity which is going to continue being there as a going concern and probably continue being profitable because of its market share and already proven profitability. That's why we have the KCB Group at number 6 on this list. And then at number 5, we have Stanbic Holdings. Guys, Stanbic Holdings is not the kind of company which makes headline news each and every time, but they are consistently making big power moves. They are conservative in their approach, but then again, they ensure profitability for shareholders each and every year. In fact, guys, just this week, in that deal where the government of Kenya sold 15% of its stake in Safaricom, the 2 advisory companies, the 2 investment banks, the 2 stock brokerages which took part in that deal, one of them was SBG Holdings, which is part of Stanbic Group. Yes, and SBG Holdings made a cool 2 billion Kenya shilling from acting as the advisor of Vodacom Group in that particular deal. So this tells you this particular holding is making power moves, and it has history of institutional reliability. It has history of making conservative management decisions which are geared towards optimizing shareholder value, and also it has a history of paying dividends. So I think having it at number 5 on this list is something reasonable, and also it is a stock worth considering at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And then guys, at number 4, we have I&M Group. Guys, this might surprise many people because it has even surprised analysts out there. Because I&M Group, of course, which of course is a banking sector company, has made interesting rally in the region and on the stock market in recent years. It has really improved and proven profitability and dividend payout in the stock market in recent years. And of course, I&M has been on the verge of expansion, both in Kenya and in the region. And that also coupled with their intentionality around expansion, around ensuring there is earnings for investors, and also bolstering their leadership, I'm placing it at number 4. Because even just this week, guys, there were 2 major leadership poachings in the country in the banking sector done by I&M Bank. Because I&M Bank has just poached the immediate former Kenyan CEO of Absa Bank, Mr. Abdi Mohammed, at the start of this week. And just 2 days ago, they also poached Equity Bank Group's Chief Information Officer, Mr. Kofi, from Equity Bank to I&M Group Holding. That tells you I&M Bank is not playing games. Despite the recent rallies in the recent years, it is looking at continuous expansion, being strategic, and tapping into proven leadership around operations and technology to advance its position in the region. And just because of that, I'm placing it at number 4 because I think it's probably a stock worth looking at and considering investing in. And then guys, at number 3, we have Equity Group. Equity doesn't need introduction. We are talking about a bank which has over 20 million customers. We are talking about a company which is the most profitable company in East and Central Africa. Because guys, last year we're talking about Equity Holding making upwards of 75 billion in revenue, which is an insane amount of money if you think about it, and that placed it among the most profitable companies in the region. Guys, sometimes it is good to invest in a proven and tested business, and Equity Bank is that kind of business. Of course, it's proven itself over time and it isn't stopping because of its continuous expansion in the region. Even just this week, I saw news about Equity Bank, about Britam struggling or competing to get their insurance entities up in the DRC, which is a country of a population upwards of 110 million people. They are going to diversify beyond banking and even get into insurance as they are gaining traction in such a country. And of course, Equity Group is eyeing more and more regions to expand to. This tells you they mean business, and chances are we're going to continue seeing increase in profitability, and that is going to trickle down to the company sharing their profits with shareholders, resulting in more and higher dividend payout. And then at number 2, we have EABL. Just like Equity, EABL doesn't need introduction. Of course, we all know EABL is one of the biggest regional breweries in Africa. Of course, part of the larger Digio group, we are talking about EABL year in, year out being profitable. And also, we are talking about them partaking in the kind of business which has typically customers. Simply put, watu Kenya wanapiga raha, watu Africa wanapiga raha, and at the center of it is drinks. East Africa Breweries Limited is ensuring it is expanding its offers. It's ensuring it is proving to continuously being reliable. It has regional operations. It's already proven profitability. It's proven dividend payout over the years, and it is not stopping. That is why thinking about investing in such a kind of business is going to ensure you get high return on your investment over time. And then guys, at number 1, we have Safaricom. Safaricom doesn't need introduction. Safaricom is the biggest company in Kenya. Yes, it is the biggest company in Kenya and one of the most strategic companies for the government of Kenya. And with that tells you putting your money down in Safaricom is going to mean you stand to gain from any future moves by Safaricom, any future expansions in the region. Of course, in recent years, we saw, for example, Safaricom tap into Ethiopia market, and Safaricom is powered mainly by mobile money and also, of course, voice calls, SMS, you name it, and is proven to increase in value year in, year out, to improve profitability year in, year out. And with the current steady leadership and Safaricom eyeing further and further regional expansion, going beyond to expand its offers, that only says shareholders' value is bound to be increased over time. And such signals are the signals an investor needs to put their money down on any given entity so that they are able to see their wealth grow and also benefit from dividends. Guys, what do you think about these 10 stocks? Do you think these 10 stocks are worth investing in? In case you are an investor, which company have you invested in? Comment down below in the comment section. Let's continue engaging. Cheers, and you all stay safe.